The topic of original hardware versus emulation is one that's common practice amongst YouTubers and gamers. It has been for a long time. To be honest, there's reasons for both. You obviously have original hardware, which for many people has the nostalgic factor, and emulation is often practical. You get save and load states, and you can upscale some of these older consoles so they look better than ever before. We're not doing an in-depth dive into all forms of emulation in this video. What I'm doing instead is looking what the iPad's capable of, what I think you might consider using it for, and comparing it against a few popular handheld devices. So we're going to get into that in this video. If you enjoy this kind of content, please don't forget to subscribe, and if you find this video useful, then please give the video a like. The games which we're going to test in this video include the ones that I've got available, which I can emulate and give you basically a side-by-side comparison of based off the games and hardware which I've got in my collection. So probably the oldest game that we're going to be looking at here is this one, which is Super Mario Land 2. It's the original Game Boy cartridge and the actual Game Boy Advance SP, which runs the older Game Boy games. So that's going to be our Game Boy test. The second one is the DS. Another game which we're going to be emulating here is the new Super Mario Brothers for the DS. I think this is one of the best 2D Mario games there is. I think it's better than the one for the Switch, and the original hardware that we're going to be running that on is my yellow DS XL, which I got off Country a couple of months ago. Really nice condition and an excellent price, and it was worth it to play this one game alone on the original hardware. The other two games which we're going to look at are Outrun 2006. This is the PS2 version. I've misplaced my PSP version, but I've got it on PSP, PS2 as well, and Liberty City Stories for PSP 2. So let's do some testing. The first game that we're going to try and emulate here is New Super Mario Brothers for the Nintendo DS. As you can see, we've got the iPad this way because to emulate the two screens, it's going to work out better in this position, and we're going to use a free app called Delta for the iPad. So here we have Delta loaded up on the iPad. I've got my PS4 DualShock controller hooked up. Let's see what it feels like.
Here I go.
So here we now have the DS version. I've got my nice yellow DS XL, which I got off Country, and I'll just turn the volume up a little bit on this, and I'll show you how it plays in comparison to the iPad. The next game that we're going to look at here is Super Mario Land 2. As you can see, it's the original Game Boy cartridge, which I've got in a Game Boy Advanced SP, and I've got the same emulator as before, Delta, with the ROM there. So PS4 DualShock connected again. Let's see how we do at this. It's been a while since I played this. Interesting to see that the game's in black and white on the Game Boy Advanced. As you'll see, it actually gives us a colour version. I'm sure there probably is a way to change that on Delta though. And here we now have the Game Boy Advance version, so we can contrast between the two. Obviously the good thing about this is you can press these two buttons and they will dictate how big the screen is. Obviously you get the correct ratio with R2. But if you want to stretch it out, you can do. We're now going to push the iPad a bit harder and look at another one of my favourite games. This is Outrun 2006. I have misplaced my PSP version, so here's the PS2 version, but this is the PSP emulator. And of course I'm going to use a DualShock for this one, which is probably a better fit. Maybe a Switch pad would be more useful for some of the more Nintendo based emulators. And as you can see, this runs beautifully. This is one of my favourite ways to play Outrun on the PSP, and I think the graphics are either 2 times or 4 times what a PSP would be as well. And obviously we're using a proper controller, and this small screen means the graphics look brilliant. And of course with a tricky game like this, you've got the magic of save states and load states as well. So you can save a state and load a state if I like, which is nice. The next game that we're going to look at is GTA Liberty City Stories. This is for the PSP. Here's my physical edition, which is complete with the map and of course the UMD. I've got this on PSP emulator on the iPad here, and I've got the DualShock controller connected once again.
Hey, so there he is, huh? Hey. Got you a nice little place to stay, Tony.
Crowfest. Crowfest. What do you mean, ladies? Crows in town. Give you legs and give your wallet wings. Featuring the only live on-stage performance of a whale song duet.
And this next song I'm gonna do here is with my previous toy.
All proceeds go to the Crow Foundation, dedicated to profiting from indigenous music. Tickets are on sale now.
Hey, why try new things? You're in a rut. Ready.
Unfortunately, we do not have a PSP to check the iPad against an original PSP, so I can't really comment on that. But the graphics were upscaled on the iPad emulator to 2 to 4 times, I can't remember which. So graphically, they would have been far enhanced on that particular emulator, whereas on Delta, I believe what you have is what you get. What do you guys think? Which one is best in 2025? Is it only original hardware for you, or iPad emulation, or Mac emulation, or Steam emulation? Please let me know in the comment section what you think. Thank you for watching, and if you want more videos like this, please don't forget to subscribe and like the video.